Let's talk about your breast. A different kind of podcast presented to you by The Rose, a breast center of excellence and a Texas treasure. You're going to hear frank discussions about tough topics, and you're going to learn why knowing about your breast could save your life. Join us as we hear another story and we answer those tough questions that you may have. Hi, this is Dorothy Gibbons, and I'm CEO and co-founder of the Rose Breast Imaging Center of Excellence. In today's episode, I want to share some of the things I've learned about having a podcast and why every organization or company should have one. When Freddie Cruz of Speak Podcasting came to us and said, the Rose needs a podcast, I had always kind of wanted to do that, but I had no idea of the benefits of having a podcast that allows you such flexibility and allows you to talk about your organization in a very different way. For me, especially for nonprofit organizations, I think this is a must-have. How else can you feature your employees or talk about your different programs or go back to the very beginning and say, this is why we started this organization, and then tell the stories of why it's still going on today? I think that out of the 60 people or so that I've interviewed, I've learned more than I ever thought possible. I've sat with people who I've known 20 and 25 years and didn't know their whole stories. I've sat with survivors. I've sat with young mothers, doctors, volunteers, people who hold third-party events just to raise money for us. There is such a wealth of information right there in your own community. I've had some CEOs say to me, podcast, I don't have time for that. So my answer back to them is more of a question. What do you mean you don't have time? You don't have time to build culture? You don't have time to recognize your special employees or all of your employees? You don't have time to spotlight those people that help you? No, you do have time. Podcasts are important. There's no other way to really capture the entire essence of your organization as well as a podcast. You can do all the writing you want, tell all the stories you want, do all the articles you want, all the op-eds, but nothing is like hearing it from someone who's actually been through your program, benefited from what you do, or been a part of making it all happen. When you're thinking about having a podcast, remember it's not that hard. It's a small commitment of time. It is just a conversation, and it is all about bringing what you already know and the people around you, bringing that knowledge to listeners who need to hear it and who want to hear it and who enjoy your successes and everything that goes on in building any kind of company, especially any kind of nonprofit. So today is International Podcast Day, and that's why we're doing a podcast on podcast. But it's also a way of introducing a brand new program we have coming up in October. And we are so excited to bring you a daily dose of all things breast. Yes, that's right. We're going to have some kind of podcast every single day in the month of October. And they could be as long as our regular podcast or normal episodes, or as short as just a 5-minute, 10-minute segment that talks about something specific. You're going to hear from survivors. You're going to hear from people who were just diagnosed to people who have been away from their diagnosis for 20 years. And you're also going to hear from some of our doctors who talk about the importance of why women need to take care of their health. You're going to hear from volunteers that have so many different ideas about raising money. You're going to hear from bikers who raise money. You're going to hear about people who sell T-shirts. You're going to hear lots of unique ways that will make your organization and any organization that wants to do this a little bit stronger. Most of all, you're going to hear things that are going to help you take care of yourself. You're going to hear things that'll help you access the right kind of doctors, the right kind of medical procedures that you're going to need on any kind of wellness, prevention, and most of all, breast cancer treatment. We enjoy talking about breast. We enjoy talking about the huge variety of people and concepts and treatments and options that are available today that only a few years ago were not. So I invite you to come along with us and tune in to our daily dose of all things breast and send me ideas of things you would like to hear. Thank you for being a part of our mission, and thank you for being a part of the Rose, and for listening to Let's Talk About Your Breast.
Thank you for joining us today on Let's Talk About Your Breasts. This podcast is produced by Speak Podcasting and brought to you by The Rose. Visit therose.org to learn more about our organization. Subscribe to our podcast, share episodes with friends, and join the conversation on social media using hashtag Let's Talk About Your Breasts. We welcome your feedback and suggestions. Consider supporting The Rose. Your gift can make the difference to a person in need. And remember, self-care is not selfish. It's essential.